Hi, welcome to Mysteries Rose. This is a story not of my own, but of my mother-in-law's. To give a little background, she worked at a hospital in a resort town where we once lived. It was opened back in the early 1900s, and it was a full working hospital. Had the ER, it had a maternity, but it also had a special work. They had a psych ward upstairs, as well as in the basement. They had a hot springs filled swimming pool and other bathing areas to help with rehab with people who've had injuries and so forth. In the more recent past, it was most of it was shut down for because we got two new hospitals in the area. Now most of the floors are empty, just storage and so forth. The top two floors are still used for psych ward, and the lower floors, the basement and first floor, are still used for rehab. And like with most hospitals this age, there are ghost stories. Some of them have even happened to myself when walking those halls after dark. Icy chilled spots, the sound of someone following you, the clicking of heels of nurses, yet no baby on the floor when you're there. This is to mean the whole floor, not just the area that you're in, but nobody on absolutely any of the floors, which is spooky in and of itself. Anyways, this happened to my mother-in-law when she had been there for over a year. She was the current RN on shift at that time. It was early in the evening, around 7 or 8. She had just got there. Now, because they are technically still a hospital, their ER is still technically open, though no one really goes there unless it's a residential in the area. This was one of the nights they had a ER visit. A gentleman had been doing some work on his home and had slipped with his saw, severing an artery in the arm. It was all hands on deck, all 8 of them, and they were trying to get everything bandaged up. There was no doctor in the hospital at that exact moment. He wasn't going to be there for another hour. So my mother-in-law was doing everything she could to help this guy. While they're going through the crash cart, trying to get all the equipment they need to stop the bleeding and waiting for the ambulance to bring him to another fully working hospital, she starts looking for the clamps. She can't find them anywhere. These clamps are supposed to be in there so they can cut off the artery without cutting off the circulation to the whole arm. She begins to yell for the clamps, screaming that she needs them before this man bleeds out. No one can seem to find them. Of course, everybody else is upset and worried and looking everywhere for these clamps. There's nowhere on the cart, nowhere in the adjoining rooms. Somebody messed up, took them off, and never put them back. Then, all of a sudden, the room got quiet. It got a little chilly in there, but everybody started calming down. She heard a noise behind her, like someone tapping metal on wood. She turns and looks at the desk behind her, and there's sitting there is a metal set of clamps in a packaging. She reached over, quickly picked them up. She picked up the clamps, did what needed to be done to cut the plating, got everything fixed up to wait for the paramedics to arrive. Within a few more minutes, no one knew how it got there. No one put it up there. And yet there it was when nothing was on that desk. It hasn't been on that desk for months. When asking the doctor and a few other people how something like this could happen, because she is a bit of a skeptic, the doctor over the psych ward just smiled and goes, back in the 1950s, a doctor that was very interested in helping patients, worked in the ER all the time, couldn't get him out of it. They had to, at times, actually force him to go home. He had a heart attack in his office when he had laid down to get some rest, and he wonders if he just got up one day and left his body behind, and still to this day tries to help people every chance he gets. Thank you for listening, and I want to tell you, if you like this story, and I will try to produce many more, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, and hopefully you will join my garden, where there will be many more mysteries for you to hear.